can you just tell us a little bit about what the Kentucky plan is and how it evolved?
Well, it basically came down to five major goals that the Board of Education focused on for the Board of Education accountability, which then filtered all the way to individual teachers and to some degree students. So we had basically five large overarching goals. Goal number one was percentage of graduates who were college and career ready. We had a 5 year target that we had to make per the legislation. So we had incremental 1 year targets, and that filtered to every district had targets set for college career ready graduates. Every school had that set, and then students were accountable based on being able to graduate, being college and career ready. The second major goal we had was actually just percentage of high school graduates that had the cohort graduation rate, percentage of kids who entered ninth grade and then were able to successfully graduate 4 years later. And we broke that one out a little bit by, demographics. We wanted to make sure we didn't have any graduation gaps. Our third goal was around reading, grades 3 through 8, and our fourth goal was math, grades 3 through 8, and our fifth goal was kindergarten readiness. So we had a very comprehensive system focused on two big goals of college career ready graduates and percentage of graduates, but we knew we had to get that in early childhood, you just couldn't wait till kids got in high school. So you had to work on early childhood reading and math, grades 3 through 8, and then the high school graduation rate and college and career ready.
How did you decide those would be the high leverage targets for you?
Well, we felt like kindergarten readiness. We knew that early childhood was the very basic first step, that we felt if we could get kids ready for kindergarten, we would solve the achievement gap issues down the road. When we first started measuring that, less than half of our Kentucky kids were ready for kindergarten. And this wasn't just, vocabulary. It was psychomotor. It was self-esteem. A good full balance measure that the teachers utilized before kids entered kindergarten. So we knew we had a lot of work to do with early childhood providers. Then we wanted to make sure that kids were getting a good balance through K3. So we knew what was going on in K3, and we were measuring what percentage of kids entered kindergarten ready, and then 4 years later, what percentage of kids were reading and doing math on grade level, because reading and math grade level predictions are they're the best predictors of success that we have right now. And same thing happened all the way through 3 through 8, checking on following those kids all the way through 3 through 8, reading and math, and making sure that our school systems were adding value rather than losing kids. So it was a little different way to look at it rather than look at third grade this year, third grade next year. No, we looked at the cohort rather than, one group versus another every year.
Right. So I'm curious because we're ending the No Child Left Behind era and we're moving into the ESSA era, and that's going to be pushing a lot more autonomy down to the local level, to states. And so, what should states be attentive to as the system is going to give them increasing autonomy and influence over what happens, relative to federal guidelines?
While you got to have summative assessments still with ESSA, it does allow a lot of flexibility with innovative formative assessments throughout the year. And the thing I would focus on that we were really getting into in Kentucky was beginning to look at measures of a balanced curriculum. How about the arts? How about science? How about social studies? How about school safety? I think ESSA does give schools and districts a wonderful opportunity to get a more balanced accountability system.
Mm. And how should states think about signaling an emphasis on test performance, but still a balanced system? Because I think that as we've seen, it's easy to overemphasize, as you say, annual test performance, which do move around a little bit.
Really focusing on student growth over time. So if states could really start weighting their accountability systems focus more on student growth, with new ESSA, you still have to have the majority of your accountability model tied back to your assessment program, but the assessment program could focus more on growth. It could focus more on formative. So there's a lot of potential here, and it does give a wonderful opportunity to focus on college readiness, career readiness in the long run.
I'm curious about how you used research and data to inform your progress.
Research and data were critical to us. We established a research team as part of our strategic planning process that we didn't have before, and we were able to work with Harvard to have strategic data fellows in our department, and that really helped us research strategies and to track and break out by school district and school and break out by demographics. And so we had a very rich and robust research division, and we were always asking tough questions. But there is not enough money in the title programs to complete the research that you need to meet the requirements of the title programs. And then there's even less money to meet the legislative demands for research that your General Assembly is always wanting. They always cut the State Department budgets, but then they increase the number of research questions they ask.
Well, Terry, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I really appreciate it.
You too.
Okay,
Thanks for the call.
take care.
Goodbye.
Bye.